Welcome to the White Glove demo for Catan, Traders, and Barbarians. If you're unfamiliar with the Settlers of Catan, you'll want to watch the White Glove demo for the base game first before watching this one. Traders and Barbarians is a terrific choice for Catan players who play with a variety of different people. Perhaps you play with casual players sometimes, and sometimes your opponents have played a lot of Catan. T&B, as we affectionately call it, has 4 variants and 5 scenarios for you to try. It's a lot of game in a single box. The rulebook describes how each variant and scenario fits together with other T&B variants and scenarios, in addition to seafarers and cities and knights. It's easy to mix and match parts to your liking. Let's start with the variants. The Friendly Robber makes our least favorite member of the Catan cast a bit more Robin Hood-like. With this variant, if you haven't earned a 3rd victory point in the game, you cannot have the robber played on your hexes. If there is no place for the robber to be moved, he stays in the desert and has no effect. But you still lose half of your resource cards if you have more than 7. The Catan event cards are an alternative to using dice for production rolls. There are 36 cards representing a perfect distribution of dice rolls based on the normal probability of a particular dice roll. There's also a New Year card, which is inserted above the last 5 cards in order to keep some mystery about the rolls. Many of the cards also include a special effect. Some are good and some are bad, but all add variety to the game. There's also a red die on each card so that you can use the event cards with cities and knights. The Harbor Master adds a new special card to join Longest Road and Largest Army. The Harbor Master is given to the player with the most harbor points. Settlements on harbors are worth 1 harbor point, and cities are worth 2 points. The first player to 3 harbor points gets the Harbor Master, which is worth 2 victory points. The first player to reach 11 victory points with this variant is the winner. The last variant is Catan for 2. You'll need the 20 trade tokens included in the box, as well as all 4 sets of player pieces. At the beginning of the game, each player gets 5 tokens. Also, 1 of each of the 2 unused colors settlements is placed on the board in specific locations. On your turn, you roll the dice until you roll 2 different production numbers. Every time you build a road, you must also add a road to one of the 2 neutral players' road network. If you build a settlement, you must also build a neutral settlement, or a road if no legal settlement location is available to the neutral pieces. A neutral player can even receive the longest road. Trade tokens are used to force trades with your opponent, or to move the robber. If your victory point total is less than or equal to your opponent, either action will cost you 1 token. If you are ahead, these actions will cost you 2 tokens. You may take 2 random cards from your opponent and add them to your hand. Then you give your opponent any 2 cards from your hand. Alternately, you may move the robber to the desert hex. You do not steal a card with this action. To get more tokens, you may cash in knight cards that you have already played for 2 tokens apiece. They are removed from the game, so you don't get to count them towards Largest Army. You also get 2 tokens when you build a settlement next to the desert, and 1 token when you build a settlement on the coast. If you build a coastal desert settlement, you get 3 tokens. That's it for the variants. Let's look at the scenarios now. We'll go from the smallest changes to the largest. The Fisherman of Catan adds a new resource to the game, fish. You can find fish with coastal settlements or by building along the shores of the lake. Coastal locations now have a production number unique for the fish resource. If a settlement produces fish, you take 1 face-down fish token from the pile. If a city produces fish, you get 2 tokens. When you get fish tokens, immediately look at them. There's one token you don't want, the old boot. It's -1 victory points, and you reveal it as soon as you get it. The good news is that you can give it to a player on your turn who has the same number of, or more, victory points than you. Fish tokens are kept hidden until you use them. You can keep up to 7 fish tokens and may trade tokens with the bank if you get more. There are a number of things that you can do with fish, but you have to pay for each action separately, and you don't get change for overpaying. For 2 fish, move the robber off of the board. For 3 fish, you may steal a card from another player. 4 fish lets you take a resource of your choice from the bank. You can build a road for 5 fish. Presumably you're feeding the workers building the road and not building a road out of fish. And for 7 fish, you can draw a development card. You still win with 10 points, or 11 if you're stuck with the old boot. The Rivers of Catan envisions 2 rivers that cross the island. The game adds some special river tiles, bridges, and gold. There are also 2 special tiles, 1 for the wealthiest settler, and 4 for poor settler. Well, that's not ominous at all. The board replaces some of the usual tiles with the river tiles. There are 2 marshland tiles that don't receive numbers, and the 2 and the 12 are both placed on the same tile. During starting placement, you cannot build a settlement on a river bridge site. These are the river hex intersections that are separated by a hex side that crosses the river. You get 1 gold for a settlement built on a river hex, and 1 gold for building a road bordering a river hex. Before the first dice roll, check how much gold each player has. If one player has the most gold, give that player the wealthiest settler tile. It's worth 1 victory point. All of the players who have the least amount of gold receive a poor settler tile. It's 2 negative victory points, so get more gold quickly. Anytime someone gets or spends gold, check to see if the wealthiest or poor settler tiles need to be redistributed. Bridges cost 2 brick and 1 lumber. They can only be built across a river and follow the same building rules as a road. A bridge is worth 3 gold. Twice per turn, gold may be spent for resources, 2 gold per card. You can also trade gold with other players, and gold can't be stolen with the robber or a monopoly card.